Iced is a 1989 low-budget, ski-based slasher horror film. Previously has only been released on VHS. That is up until now, because Vinegar Syndrome, through its sublabel, Degausser Video, has laid upon us this. Degausser Video is known for bringing Blu-ray deluxe editions of both well-known and underseen films that were shot on video. To make sure they don't get pigeonholed and, I guess, run out of films to present, they may include, in some instances, movies that were shot on film but later edited on video, and in these situations, the original film elements were thought to be lost or destroyed. Now, I got this directly from the Vinegar Syndrome website. They also offer a limited edition VHS versions of these Degausser videos, so that's something to take a look at. Now, they are limited editions. I think you can only get them through the Vinegar Syndrome website. If you would do me a favor, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Dave Watkins, Watkins Films. Now, I do have a couple of suggestions to Vinegar Syndrome and Degausser Video for future Degausser Video releases, and that would be the epic 2004 film Jack-O-Lantern and the 2004 horror film Stragglers. Both of these films star me, and I directed Stragglers and I was assistant director on Jack-O-Lantern, but they were both shot on videotape and released around 2004, so just something to think about. Vinegar Syndrome has also released recently now these are better quality films as far as what they were shot on film, but they did release 2 snow-based films recently, including The Devil Times 5 and Blood Tracks. Both of them low-budget horror films, but they're definitely got a lot better quality to them than Iced. Now you must know, and from what I've been saying, you probably do know, and I hope anyone who's bought this film is aware of what you're getting, because you're not going to be very happy with the quality of this, because as I was saying before, it is shot on video, and it has been brought from video upscaled to Blu-ray, and on top of that, it was shot in 4:9, so you got these black bars on the side when you're watching the film, so it looks really shitty. Now, the quality of it is shit. It looks awful, but at the same time, you got to commend Degausser Video for bringing something that is so obscure. I wasn't aware of it. I think some people are aware of it because they had the VHS version of the film, but this is like I say, it is a 1989 slasher film, so it's like 9 or 10 years into the slasher heyday, but it is something to behold. And just before you get into it, I will say it is an enjoyable film, but I will say just be aware that the quality is going to be awful, and just have your mind ready for that, because otherwise you might be like really pissed off that you like wasted your money on a piece of shit. Just know that's what you're getting, and enjoy it. So what's this movie about, you may ask? Let's get into it. So the film kind of takes place in 3 different parts. The first part, which I find probably the most entertaining because of the Jeff character, takes place at a ski resort where a group of friends have come to ski, I guess, and Jeff is there with this girl who he thinks is his girlfriend named Trina. And the problem is, she doesn't seem to return his feelings. In fact, she's into one of their other friends named Cody, and they seem to really be... Cody and Trina seem to be very connected, and it's just one of those situations where these characters are pretty young. They look older than, I guess the actors are probably older than the characters. But anyway, but Jeff is hyper obsessive over Trina, and he actually challenges the guy that she likes, Cody, to a race, and then they race, and Jeff loses, and he has a big hissy fit, but he's stomping around in a big snit, and he comes in a few times when he has like a ski pole with him, and he kind of looks like he may try to hit somebody with it, but he just like he doesn't, and he throws it around, and he's just like he's a very mentally unstable character. He seems to be on the brink of having a mental breakdown. But at the same time, he doesn't seem to be psychotic. He's more into self-harm, because then he goes out in the snow, and he just flips out. He's like, takes some skis. He goes out in the snow. Everyone's like, yo, there's a blizzard, man. You need to be careful. And he goes out in the snow, and he falls and hits a rock and apparently dies. So that's kind of how it starts, and that's the first part of the film. And it's very entertaining because the actor playing Jeff brings a lot to this character, but the character is very angry, he starts off in an angry, agitated state, and he never comes down from it. But it is entertaining for the first, like, I guess maybe 20 minutes of the film. That kind of, maybe less than that, but I really like the way that kind of goes. Even though no one's really getting killed other than Jeff, but it's kind of an interesting bit there. And also, there's a scene where Jeff's sitting in this restaurant, and he seems to be, or ski like lounge or whatever, and he seems to be talking to nobody, which may make you think that Jeff is schizophrenic. But later on, it kind of proves to be not the case. It seems anyway, but maybe, I don't know. And then the second part of the movie takes place, I think, 5 years later. Like, the group of friends have all been invited to this cabin ski resort thing. It's not really, I guess it's on the ski resort. You never really see them get that into skiing again from there on out. So they're invited to not even invited. It's more of like it's supposed to be like a sales pitch meeting. They're going to this cabin that they're selling for $250,000, which is probably equal to $400,000 to $600,000 today's money, but maybe even more than that. But they're going to this cabin, and it's supposed to be a sales pitch meeting where none of them intend to buy it. They've been. Now, this might seem odd to people. I do remember, like, some of my aunts and uncles growing up, they would do stuff like this. They would go, like, check things like this out. And most of the time it was timeshares down in Florida. But you would get free stuff just to go to these friggin' awful pitch meetings and have someone kind of try to pressure you into buying a timeshare, or in this case, a cabin. But that's kind of, they're going to this to check out the cabin. And they get there, the cabin's stocked with food, and everything seems pretty cool. The cabin location looks pretty nice. They got like log cabin walls, so it's a pretty cool location for them to be shooting in. But then the second part of the film takes place. Now, one person gets killed during the second part of the film. On his way to there, they don't know this guy's for sure coming. Him and his girlfriend. His girlfriend's played by Lisa Loring. Now, Lisa Loring was well known for playing Wednesday Addams in the 1964 Addams Family show. Here, she's all grown up, and she actually takes off all of her clothes several times. So, and she looks pretty hot, to tell you the truth, including, like, there's a hot tub scene where she's in there completely nude, in a bathtub scene. But I mean, she looks great nude, and she does a pretty good job in the film. I don't know, like, a terrific job, but for what it is, she does a pretty good job. So, but her boyfriend and her have been fighting, and he decides to come anyway. But when he's on his way up there, he suddenly has some issues with his car, and suddenly, like, a snowplow comes up and runs him over and kills him. And that's the killer of the film. Is it Jeff? So has the Jeff character returned to exact revenge on the people who wronged him? Like, is he like a supernatural Jason Voorhees character coming back and wearing like a blue ski suit? Or is something else going on? Well, that would be interesting, but we'll get more into that here in just a minute. So then the next part of the film deals with all these people coming to the cabin and hanging out at the cabin and talking, and eventually having the sales pitch meeting by this guy named Alex. It shows Alex a few other times in some other scenes, but Alex comes in and does the pitch, and one of the girls likes him, and they start making out and all this. So that takes up a good chunk of the film. And then for the last 26 minutes of the film, that's when the slasher part begins, and they are all stalked one by one. And then we get down to the final 10 minutes where you have one girl left, the final girl, who has to try to run from him and fight him eventually. That actress is played by Debra De Liso, who was in the original Slumber Party Massacre. And she's really a lot of fun in the Slumber Party Massacre. She plays one of the main women in that, not the final girl in this one. But here, she's fun in this film as well. But Slumber Party Massacre is clearly a better film than this. But this, so basically, you get the one girl left, and then she eventually fights the guy. And then there's like a twist where the guy turns out to be, spoilers, get ready for it. So the guy who's the killer is the guy who's doing the sales pitch, and he apparently used to be friends with Jeff, and he was apparently at the ski resort earlier on, and he wore like a big red puffy jacket and a red headband, and he had like a lot more hair, but he's good friends with Jeff, and apparently like the person that Jeff was talking to and looked like he wasn't talking to anybody was him, and he went out to go find Jeff after he had the big hissy fit and went off in the snow, and he finds him dead, and then he falls down and he breaks his leg, and apparently this whole time the Alex character, who doesn't appear to be walking around like this, he's got a prosthetic leg, so no one noticed it. And so he used to be he was a contender to be the best skier out there, but apparently since he broke his leg, he lost his leg, that he can't do that anymore, and so he blames all these people. So he's been trying to come up with a revenge plan, and he does it. So that's the very odd twist. And then there's one more twist, like about I think a year or something later. Like the guy, the Cody character actually survives, even though he gets stabbed. He survives, and him and the main girl, Trina, played by Debra De Liso, or they're out in the snow and they build a snowman, and suddenly like the snow, it cuts to a close up of the snowman's eyes. Now this is the back of this. See the snowman with the snowman's eye starts bleeding, and then says Jeff was here, but then Jeff like comes. I guess it's Jeff, but he comes busting out of the snowman, and then that's it. That's a pretty cool shot. That's really the only. I don't even know if that really happens. It may just be in a figment of imagination or something, but that's the only kind of borderline supernatural thing that happens in the film. Now, I wanted to talk about the kills here in just a minute, and then we're going to wrap this up. But first, I'm going to take a look at the actual physical version of the film. Now, this is a very impressive slipcover. I do like this snowman on the back. Now, you flip this up, and here's and that's pretty much what the killer wears, is like a blue snowsuit and these goggles. On the inside here, we have one disc, which is a Blu-ray, and we got another little insert here with the girl through the glasses. Now, one thing this film misses that's predominant, especially in the first Slumber Party Massacre, is it doesn't really have the humor. There's plenty of unintentional humor. I mean, it is hilarious because of how kind of bad it is. But now in this, when I say bad, I guess it is kind of come off a little like amateurish in general, just the whole way that it's shot, and some of the acting, but it's also that also adds a new layer of enjoyment to the film as well. All those different levels. Now the kills are pretty good, especially for a low budget film like this. There's one where a guy's in the car and he gets stuck in the back of his neck with a ski spike, and then like Wednesday Addams, Laura gets like electrocuted in a hot tub, which is a pretty awesome scene. And later you see her dead in the hot tub, and then it's like there's some written, like Jeff was here, was written on the side of the hot tub. And then one girl gets an icicle to the eye that's kind of shown off screen. It comes at her, and later on you see her with the icicle sticking out of her eye. Another guy gets stabbed. I mean, but really none of them. Another guy gets bear traps. This guy's a bit of an ass when he's been carrying around like a gun the whole time. And he goes out there with a gun and he steps in bear traps and then dies. And then later the main girl gets the gun from him. But all the kills seem to work pretty good. I mean, they're not amazing, but they sell the kills for the most part. I will say I do like the fact that this film was clearly shot on location, and the location looks pretty cool. And some of the shots have some creepiness to them, and they even add a little bit of fog to them. So all that. There are some instances where things are pretty cool. Now the suspense is kind of there. The last 26 minutes are going to be the best part, I guess. I really like the opening too with the Jeff character. The middle kind of a bit of a slog, but they do have a lot of conversations, and they sit around and talk and that sort of thing. And some of them are fairly, like, you can tell maybe they were ad-lib and stuff, and some of them are more believable with these conversations than others. Some of it's pretty fun, and it kind of makes you want to go hang out at a cabin, which is a good time as long as you're not getting stalked and killed. It is a fun movie. Again, it is shot on video and it is low budget, but I think that all those things kind of add to the pleasure of watching it if you can get your mind in the right place to check this thing out, which I do recommend. I'm going to give this film, I'm going to give it 2 stars. It's pretty bad, but at the same time, I'm not trying to say don't watch it. I'm just saying it's a bad film. It's got 2 stars. I'm going to give Degausser Video 4 stars for this amazing release, which also includes interviews with some of the people that worked on the film, and it's got some director's commentary on it. But if you would do me a favor and go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm Dave Watkins. Thanks for watching.